Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation series. I am excited for this one today because I have Carrlyn Bathe here with us today, and she is fabulous. And I'm going to turn it over to her and let her introduce herself, and then we're going to get into this.
Thank you so much. I'm so stoked to do this. This is going to be
Yes.
so much fun just to chat, have a conversation about something we both love. So, for everybody who's just listening and doesn't know who I am, hi, I am a TV host and reporter covering the LA Kings and a little bit of Angels baseball out here in
Yes.
Southern California for Bally Sports West. I'm also a voice in the video game NHL
Yes.
21 and NHL 22. And
Wonderful.
I also love streaming Call of Duty in my off time, which seems to be rare these days because we're all getting busy again as the world opens back up.
What is calm time anymore? And now that we came out of COVID, everybody's like relaxed, and now we're like, all right, time to get back to work.
Right, exactly. There's no downtime anymore.
No,
And we
no.
were sick of it, and now it's like, wait, can we have some of that back, please?
Wait, I can't wear pajamas on the lower half of my body every single day all the time anymore.
Dang it! Who invented that?
Sucks. No, but I'm incredibly excited, and we're massive hockey people here. And we love the beautiful game. And what's also awesome is that you cover baseball, which is a close place to my heart because I grew up in a very baseball home. So
Love
um,
that.
it's a twofer. Um, would love to kick right off and get into your story of how you came to be doing what you're doing, why sports reporting, and why reporting in general.
It's kind of a long story. I was 19 when I moved from where I grew up in Maine to
Okay.
over here in Southern California. And I feel like a lot of people at that age have that job in mind where they're like, oh, I'm going to school because I want to do this because that's my plan. And at 19, I moved and I was like, well, my plan is to like make enough money to like live in the place that I'm living and
Right.
like be sort of happy. I had no plan of like, all right, what's my dream?
Yeah.
And I loved sports growing up. I've played hockey my whole life.
Very cool.
And that was like just always a natural love for me. But
Yeah.
I didn't grow up knowing like, oh, broadcasting, that's achievable. Like I didn't think like that.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, I started working on the King's Ice Crew, shoveling snow,
Very cool.
and it was so much fun. One of the best jobs ever. And I did that for about 5 years. But the first season that I auditioned, there was somebody named Heidi Androl who was going around and interviewing people. And I was like, whoa, this girl loves hockey, gets to talk
Yeah.
to people, tell their stories. And you're
Yes.
telling me that's a job? That's what I want to do. And I just loved everything that Heidi did. I still follow her along to this day and like love everywhere she goes.
Yes.
She's a great colleague and friend of mine. And then Allie McKay, who was a news reporter and TV personality here in Southern California, who now lives in Maine. We swapped coasts. she she brings this like insane
Yeah.
energy and a little bit of comedy to
Yeah.
what she does and how she reports. And I've always tried to like tie that into what I do. So she inspired me. Heidi opened the door of like, whoa, this is an
Yeah.
existence that I didn't know was possible. And then 5 years on the ice crew, 3 years in arena hosting, much like
Yeah.
Abby Labar over in
Yes.
Carolina, who I know
Yes.
you're familiar with.
I am very familiar with.
Yeah, so we've got a similar path there. And then from there, spent about 1 year doing digital over at FS1 here on in
Yeah.
Southern California, and then bounced to our regional network, Valley Sports West. And I've been there since about 2017, 2018 now.
Yeah.
And it's been a blast. That's
Love
the
it.
brief version of my
Yeah.
story.
No, I love it. And I love now that when we think about it, like there was Fox and there was ESPN, and but it's all now like you can probably catch everybody on Bally now. That's just the massive network where you can catch every single one of your incredible faces in some sort of way.
Thanks. Yeah. It's
It
been fun being on those regional networks. They span far and wide
they do.
across the states.
They do. You are a massive gamer, as you alluded to. What does it feel like to be the first female broadcaster to be a voice in EA Sports NHL franchise?
It is insane. It still doesn't feel real.
Yeah,
It's one of those things that when the opportunity came around, it was a no-brainer to say yes to. There's a lot of things in life where maybe you got to weigh the pros and cons. There were only pros with this.
yeah,
And I was so honored to have been even thought of for
right.
that role. And I remember so my husband is friends with their producer. We call him Rammer. And my husband's nickname is Hammer. So Hammer and Rammer, Hammer and Rammer are friends. And Rammer let him know, hey, we're looking for this position. This is a
Yeah,
role that possibly if your wife's interested, we'd
yeah,
love to see her work. And I remember like recording my audio reel for it and
yeah,
getting like so into it and so serious. And I read an actual like hockey report that I had written about Adrian Kempe for a previous game and like
yeah,
made sure like this is authentic. This is what I do.
yeah.
And they ended up choosing me and going with me. And the whole
It's
experience
so
was just like incredible. And the amount of hours and time and people that it takes
yeah.
to even do like
Oh,
one portion of a video game
yes.
is mind blowing. It's absolutely insane, but it's been an honor and it's one of my proudest accomplishments.
That's awesome. And like I was just talking to somebody yesterday about the music industry, and then they were saying the same kind of thing, like the amount of people it takes to actually produce something. And for a video game, I can't even like the attention to detail that
It's
has to go into
bonkers.
it's nuts. And so I can't even imagine the amount of work that had to go into all of that. It's mind-blowing to
It
me.
is. It really is. It's like, just to give you a little brief rundown,
Yeah.
like, think about all the thousands of player names just to say those names. And
Yeah.
it's not even like a part of the script of what I actually am saying in the game most of the time.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't even register that on my radar before recording. I'm like, oh, yeah, you need me to say however many thousands of hockey names,
Yeah.
and you say it in the same tone and inflection so
Oh my
it
god.
rolls into the sentence that you've got
Yes.
recorded after it because they
Yes.
all need to like match with one another.
Yes.
It's insane, but it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
I always like to make the comparison of hockey last names to when you go to any kind of graduation and they have to like practice how you read their last name so you don't mess it up. Like that's
Yes.
just what I always think of when I hear having to practice hockey names. Is like that
Yes.
graduation scene right there.
It's very true. It really
Yeah.
is. And then there's letters that don't sound like the letters that they
Yeah.
are, and then it just throws you for a whole loop.
It's so funny because we hear one thing on TV and we say it completely like the team pronounces it a completely different way, and we're like, hold on a second.
And then
Can we back
sometimes
up
you go ask the player and they're like, actually, it's like this.
this
And they
way?
never wanted to correct anybody because of course they're a hockey player. They're the nicest humans on the planet.
We're incredibly we have Stephen Lawrence and
Mm,
on our team, and of course we found out this year because we had been calling him Lawrence, and he was
yeah.
like, no, it's Lawrence. And I was like, I'm sorry, you've
Get
been
out.
here for how long and you're just now telling us this?
Yep. Yep.
And he's like, it's all right. And I'm like, it's not.
That's a hockey player for you. That is.
How great they are. They're just like, they just want to play the game. They don't really
They
care
roll
about
with
what you
it.
call them. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I would love to hop into game days with you because this is one of my favorite parts of just asking you guys this is just what game days look like for you and what your favorite part of game days are.
There's a lot of different components to a game day. At home, it's harder for me to get to the practice rink. So they'll hold a morning skate in the mornings.
Yeah.
I try to get there the day before and kind of do
Okay.
my morning skate prep or ask questions during that practice rather than during the morning skate. I live in Orange County, closer to the Ducks facilities than I do the Kings facilities, which are up in LA. So on a game day, say I did go to morning skate, not the day before, I would start in El Segundo. And my morning starts at like 9 a.m. I'm over there, game day skate 10:30-ish. Leave around 11:30, 11:45, got all my notes. I usually record things on my phone recorder. I've got like hundreds of just player interviews, coach interviews. Great tool to go back and utilize if you ever need to at some point. And I'll transcribe whatever they said that I think is interesting and work that into the broadcast. So I'll have a couple different hits throughout the game and try and pick something that's unique or something that will bring value to whatever the themes are that we're talking about. So if it's a player debut, maybe I'll ask the coach about what they've seen from this player in the minors, what they know about them, transcribe that into my own story, and then deliver that on air, bounce it back up to the guys upstairs. And that prep coincides with the hair and the makeup, which in sports, I don't know if the hair and makeup artists exist elsewhere, but they don't exist where I'm at. And I am my own hair and makeup artist and had to do a lot of YouTubing to figure it all out. And
you have a beautiful job.
Thank you. I've come to, this is as good as it gets. So that's where I'm at. And like that eats up a lot of the afternoon. So I'm slowly like, chipping away, listening to whatever's going on NHL Network, listening to my hockey podcast, taking my notes and so on and so forth. Then getting to the rink, and I'll get there. If there's a 7:30 game, I'll likely get there around 3:45 to 4:15 and start my day with a player interview. We'll do a walk-in. They arrive. They got their suits on. We do a, one-on-one. And then I'll eat dinner there. Then we've got the broadcast time, whatever pregame starts. If it's 7:30 game time, we'll start at 7. And kind of go on from there and do the game. And I like to stand in one spot. So I've got my like rinkside reporter position at the glass. And I'll stand there all game long. And in Carolina, the rinkside reporter position, I don't know if you've been to the wind tunnel. Have you been there?
Yes.
You know all about this spot?
I do.
It is an actual hurricane inside of the bowels of PNC Arena.
It is.
So I despise with a passion having to stand in that spot for an entire game, but I do it for the love of the game, the beautiful game. So
I was just about to ask you, like, do you have, because Abby stands, I can see her every game. She's like diagonal to me across the ice. We see her. And she stands there during when play is happening. I was just about to ask you if you have your spot and if it's the best seat in the house.
So mine is at my home rink, and then everywhere else it's just up in the air. It's a total gamble of where I'm at, and it's nice to have the consistency when I'm at home. And that's for when I'm doing like my reporting position. And when I fill in for the hosting chair, we have a host. His name's Patrick O'Neill. He recently got an incredible opportunity with the Angels to be one of their lead play-by-play broadcasters. So he's made this incredible jump, and I've had to fill in for him, which big shoes to fill. And he's incredible at what he does, but in that position, there's a lot more, I don't want to say relaxing in a sense. I'm talking about like the way I'm propped up during a game. I get to sit in a chair and watch, and it's delightful. But there's a lot more work involved. So those days are a little different. I don't do the walk-in interview, and there's more verbal prep and written prep for tosses and tags and leads to features and questions to ask our analysts and so on and so forth. So those days are totally different, but similar. And I like to sit in the chair. It's comfortable.
I love it.
So,
I love that so much, because you are just like, you're like a comfy chair compared to standing the whole game. There's a difference. There is.
Big difference.
Big
Big
difference.
difference.
Yeah. Now, when you are doing on baseball time, how is game days, or how does, like, what is the difference for you between hockey and baseball?
The baseball stadium is about 7 minutes from my house.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
it is not far,
Right.
and the commute is much, oh God, it's just so much better. And so that's the biggest difference is no, it's quicker to get there,
Yeah.
and the atmosphere is so different. First of
Yeah.
all, you're battling the outdoor elements, and I'm a sweater. I am not like one of those girls that's like, "Oh, 90 degrees, my face
Nope.
is perfect." No.
No.
I literally am drenched. My hair's a mess. Like I'm trying to figure out how to cool down. I burnt my scalp. I learned that you got to put sunscreen on your scalp, even if you have hair on your head. Like, I didn't know that. Learned the
Yep.
hard way. Battling the elements is way
Yeah.
different. At least I can bank on an arena being freezing cold and I know how to appropriately dress for
Yeah.
that. That's a whole different beast of the ballpark. And to be honest, baseball was not my natural sport of
Yeah.
choice. Like I chose to go into this hockey space. I grew up playing hockey. I speak
Yeah.
hockey like it's my first language, and baseball is something I actively have to work even harder at. So I ask 1,000 questions, and people probably want me to be quiet, but I am always asking my colleagues, asking the play by play, asking the analysts, asking my producers, asking other writers,
Yeah.
and you'd be surprised at how helpful people are. So if
Yeah.
you're willing to learn something and willing to do the work to make sure you know what you're talking about, the
Absolutely.
help is there.
Yeah.
And the flow of the game is fairly similar, where I'll have to arrive a few hours earlier, do a player interview, um, eat, take notes, continue to get ready, and then have a hit or two in game, and then do the post game interviews after. So very similar flow. And
Yeah.
then the length of game varies, as you know. Hockey is
Woo!
pretty, it's on a schedule. Like they
It's
get
pretty
in and they get out.
consistent.
Yeah. Unless there's overtimes, and then even then they're like 5 minutes or a shootout, guys. We gotta go. Like it's
You got to get off
except for
the
the
ice.
playoffs.
You got to get off the ice. You got to
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
they've got something to do after. I don't know, but hockey
Yeah.
is just on
Yeah.
pace and so quick, and
Yeah.
baseball's like we got nothing to do after, so we're gonna take as much time as we need. So that's the biggest difference too. Is like
Yeah.
the gamble of how long is this game gonna be,
Yeah.
and kudos to the players that do that every single day. It's a grind, and it's impressive.
Yeah. I was just thinking about this. Can we put in our LinkedIn bios under languages? Can we put hockey? Can we
Right?
put that as now a language? Because
Yeah.
I feel like it should be,
Yes.
because it's just you have to understand, like we say certain things that people look at you and you're like, what in the world did you just say?
Totally. That guy's got a nice head of lettuce. And you're like, what the hell? she go she okay? Yes.
Did she get hit in the head too many times? And you're
Yeah.
like, I did. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I think it should be a language. I'm strongly for it. So the Kings had a fantastic season this season. Hats off to them. We're both sitting in seats where we're like, yeah, we could have made it a little farther. We would have loved it.
Right. That would have been nice.
We would not have been complaining. Favorite memory of this season with the Kings.
Wow. Honestly, the whole season was awesome. Like there were a lot of storylines, a lot of players making debuts this year.
Yeah.
I think just seeing the success of some of the young players that had come up and gave it everything they had, like I'm impressed with the way that Sean Dursey played and came up and stepped in. I'm impressed with the way Jordan Spence played and came up and stepped in. Um Dustin Brown's retirement, that I don't want to say is a favorite moment because it's absolutely heartbreaking. Who wants
Yeah.
to lose a player like that?
Um,
What an incredible career after 18 years. But his press conference and hearing him speak about his career and his family and like what the Kings have meant to him, and
right.
just it reciprocated what he means to us. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was truly a favorite moment of was being able to see him kind of get that off of his chest and out into the world
Yep.
before the first round started. And it's not a favorite moment to know that he's retiring, but that was just a beautiful way to have him say
Yeah.
in his own words what this all meant to him. So
Absolutely.
that was sweet. But just seeing the story arc of the season
Yeah.
and these players growing into their own and battling so much adversity with COVID, still ravaging through teams while they were still testing, and then
Yeah.
the injuries that we've had. Like there
Yeah.
was a time where the entire Kings like back end was just obliterated. It was
Yeah.
not what it used to be.
Yeah.
And the way that these guys were able to step in and be like, we got this. We
Yeah.
got this to the best of our ability. It was really fun to watch.
I feel like this year was the year of the rookies and the younglings, because they stepped up in a way that, I mean, rookies came in and just completely said, hold my beer, watch this. We're going to show you guys how we score, which was the coolest thing to watch just across the entire league. We had one on our team. It was cool to see him kind of just show up and say, I'm here. And so I truly, like, it was incredible to watch this whole season.
To think about years past, if you look at hockey a decade ago, there was never a time, or 3 decades ago, there has never been a time where as many doors as there were that opened this season have been opened for players. Like, I don't want to, I don't like anything about COVID. COVID stinks. It's the worst. I hate everything about it. The flip side to it happening is, holy smokes, did these guys get a shot they may never have been able to get? And you look at your farm system and you think, well, sure, maybe these guys will get a shot at least some point. Can you think of a time where 8 doors opened at once? No. This was so unique. These past few seasons have been so unique. And I don't think these guys know, or maybe they do know, how incredible this opportunity was for them. They could have not been able to knock on this door this soon. They may have never been able to knock on this door. They may have knocked on this door and that spot that was vacant closed up right away. But these guys were coming up. COVID protocols taking guys out for 8 to 10 days. They're getting a chance. They're getting a shot. And some of them are still here and running with it. It was truly incredible.
I think to your point, like the farm system, they took advantage of COVID and said, hold on, if you need someone to be called up, we're going to make sure you get someone that is NHL ready.
And they were ready. Yes, to your point.
Ready.
They were. It was impressive.
I mean, hats off to the farm system over COVID, because I mean, they showed out, and it was impressive this season. It really was.
Yes, absolutely.
Applause all the way around for them. One thing I love, you mentioned it briefly, but mentorship in the world of sports is such a powerful thing. Has there been someone to you, or a group of people that have been huge mentors to you throughout your just entire career?
There's so many. There are so many. Everybody I work with, first of all, there is not one single person that I work with that I don't value. Like I am so thankful. Just for every single person. One of the pieces of advice that I give to young people who are looking to break into this business is learn what everybody around you does, because you're not getting into this job for the glitz and the glamour and the camera and the lights and the
need all the players.
No, it's the exact opposite. This is a team sport off the ice, off the field, off the court. It is so important to know your team, know them well, and know what they do. So I spend a lot of time in the production truck. I try to go into the production truck and just chat and say hello. And like, COVID took a lot of that away for a hot minute, but this baseball season this summer, I started doing it again. I was like, hey guys, like, how's it going? Like, I want to know who's making the graphics that day. I want to know who's cutting the video. I want to know who's mixing the audio. Know these people, know their names, know what they do. And I don't even consider mentorship one person who taught me everything I know. It's like all of them taught me everything I know. I know what to ask for
Yeah.
when I go to other arenas in
Yeah.
my audio, because my A1 Matt Huff told
Yeah.
me verbatim what to say. You know,
Right.
I know how hard the EVS operator is working to make sure
Yeah.
they're finding that right highlight, that I don't bother somebody and ask them during a certain time
Right.
where I know they're probably cutting a highlight right now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's just so many different variables that you should be learning and you should know about. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get into this business and they go, well, as long as I worry about my job, my notes, my career, my stuff, then I'll be good to go. And it's like, maybe, but you might not be the best to work with. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I credit everybody I've ever encountered at work, including my own colleagues. I love bouncing ideas off of my own colleagues, our play-by-play, our analyst, Alex Faust, Jim Fox, Patrick O'Neill, Jarrett Stoll, Derek Armstrong. Like,
Yeah.
these guys, I can just chit chat with them,
Right.
ask them how to do something better, ask them, how could I word this differently? And they're
Yeah.
phenomenal about it. And
Right.
then in terms of career mentorship, Jack Wilson, who is one of our like digital directors over at Valley Sports
Yeah.
West, he is somebody who's like risen with me through the ranks, started way long time ago, and now has worked himself up to where he is now,
Yeah.
and has been that person that's, always handed me the microphone or
Yeah.
given me a shot, or
Yeah.
knew maybe I'm not mentally ready for something or think that
Right.
I'm capable, but he knew that I was and would put me in
Right.
positions to make sure that I was moving forward
Right.
and trusted me with things. And then our marketing department at West also, they were so helpful when I was just doing their digital platform called Extra
Right.
Point. So we had Ian LaValle and Andrea McPhee and Jessica Musmano, and they were just like, and Kyle Oshiro. Oh my gosh, I'm like thinking of all these names. They were so helpful in giving me the like stage of like, here's what we can offer you and help us make these things come to life. And I'm like, you got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a standard mentor where it's like, oh, I call this
Yeah.
person once a month and fill them in on everything. It's
Yeah.
like I take advantage of the ecosystem that we're surrounded in, and I highly recommend that approach
Yeah.
to everybody, because we should be learning what everybody does and
Absolutely.
how we can help them, and then in turn they'll just naturally help us as
Yeah.
we move along too.
Everybody's a small piece of a much larger puzzle, and it's a very, very beautiful puzzle once it's all put together. And that's what, when we watch games, that's what we get to see.
Absolutely.
So I applaud you guys, because it is a very small pieces of a puzzle. And you guys work efficiently, though it may look like chaos behind the scenes some days, but
For sure.
yeah, it is,
We
you know.
thrive in chaos.
Yes. Yes. I think that's the best environments to work in. Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
utter chaos. But you guys do a beautiful job of doing it. So applause
Thank
off to you
you.
guys every single game day. I want to go back to you playing hockey. What position did you play when you played hockey? Or what was your favorite part about playing hockey yourself?
I love playing defense. My dad was a defenseman, and he was like a stay-at-home defenseman. He was not a goal scorer. I am the same exact way.
Nice.
I will break it out of the zone. I will set you up with a pass. I will always find your stick. If you
Yeah.
expect me to find the back of the net, you're crazy. It's not happening. I am not a goal scorer.
Yeah.
And this old lady bod can't take a slap shot to save her life. So stay-at-home defenseman for life is
I love
my
that.
cup of tea.
I've never heard stay-at-home defenseman, but I quite like that term now.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
gonna start using that.
It's a little old school, to be honest, because most defensemen are two-way, offensive minded.
Yeah.
You don't hear it much anymore.
It's creative though. I like the term. I like it. I appreciate it. Because I'm probably the same way. I'm like, I'll stay here.
Yeah, I got this. You go. You go.
You go ahead. You're gonna be faster than I am.
You
Get
take
down
it.
there. I love to ask this question of the fabulous women that I get to talk to in sports. What has your experience been like as a woman in the world of sports?
I just try to trailblaze as much as possible and not think about the things that I'm doing in a way where I could not do them. If I don't even know how to word it. Nothing is
I
off
got you
limits
though.
for us. You know what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't ever try to look at something like that's an obstacle
Yeah.
I can't conquer.
Yeah.
I just always look at things like, okay, maybe I have to
Yeah.
try it this way, try it that way, but it's achievable.
Yeah.
And I feel like in sports, we're going to stop hearing the first woman to ever call a play by play, blah, 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 the first all woman broadcast, the first all
Yeah.
woman production. I hope we stop hearing that
I hope we do too.
because that means it's a regular thing. That
Yeah.
means women are in these positions and it's no big
Great.
deal. So
Yes.
while I am so aware of how important it is to keep trailblazing and making history and supporting my colleagues who are doing so, I
Yeah.
cannot wait for the day where they don't
Great.
have to label it like that. And it's just commonplace that
Yeah.
we are all in this together, dominating no matter who you are and
Yeah.
what you do. And
Yeah.
it's equity for everybody. I'm a
Absolutely.
huge proponent of equity for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody needs the same tools and opportunities to be able to succeed. No one should be given less or more based on
Yes.
any other circumstance.
Absolutely. Absolutely love that opinion and love that perspective on things, because like, why is it so weird or not weird, but you know what, why is it so weird that it's a whole female reporting team? You know what I mean? Like, why is that such a headline to
Right.
people? And
Right.
it shouldn't be, because it should just be normal. Like
It
that
should be. Yeah.
should be normal for all of us, because women can do it too. It is not just a man thing.
Exactly.
So
One day it will be normal and it'll be because of those firsts and those women who had those first all female
yeah.
insert here, you know, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
normal one day because of them. So
Yeah.
that'll be
Well,
exciting to see.
you are a part of them, so you can I mean, women and young girls are looking up to you when they're coming in and wanting to be like you, so you are part of that group as well. So
Honored to be.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. My last question for you is just, what inspires you?
I would say my family inspires me a lot. I think we all work hard for something,
Yep.
whether you have different goals in mind and you're working toward those.
Yep.
Mine would be to exist in this universe, leave it a little bit better than how I got here, and appreciate the time with my family.
Yeah.
And I live far away from them now. I moved away when I was 19, and I love to work super hard and then go vacation and see my family for like 2 weeks during the summer.
I
We
love it.
skip so many Christmases and Thanksgivings
Yeah.
and birthdays, and you know, you blink and 15 years have gone by, and
Yeah.
it's like, what are we all working hard for?
Right.
So I am working hard for my family. They inspire me,
Yeah.
and it's like I just work really hard to always get back and see them.
Yeah.
And then I work hard to set this place up better than how I got here too. And
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up Dustin Brown again because he said a lot of this kind of rhetoric in
Yeah.
his retirement press conference, where he was basically saying like, I just want this place to be better than it was when I got here. And he
Yeah.
felt like he did that. Like, I want to leave my profession at the end of the day and be
Yeah.
like, yeah, we trailblazed. Yeah, we got innovative. Yeah, we
Absolutely.
blew people's minds and just kept knocking down, banging down doors. Like, I want that to be
Yes.
part of my legacy and make things easier for the people
Yeah.
who are coming into this biz behind me. I just want things to be easy. And I also want people to know nobody's paths are the same either. Everybody's path, and I'm sure you know, you've done a lot of these episodes.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different path.
Yeah.
So just kind of trailblazing my path and hope people can realize like, oh, that's one way. I could do it like that.
Yeah. I think that's, and to your point, like that's the beautiful thing that has come out of all of this. Yes, I might have had you and Abby and so many other incredible females who work in sports on here. Not one of you has gotten to your place the same exact way. There is no such thing as getting to the same way, the exact same way.
Yep.
That's the beautiful part of it. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own path of life. And that's what makes all of this so beautiful.
You're right. Yeah.
So I love that. And I hope the family keeps you humble because mine sure does.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You got a dad that chirps you or a brother or sister. Yeah. It exists.
Yeah. I got a dad who grew up in sports and is super competitive. And he's like, oh, you want to go? And I'm like, we're the exact same. So I'll do it right back at you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They got to keep you humble. Yes. For sure. That's what family's for.
Wouldn't be a regular day without it. That's for sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
Carrlyn, I appreciate you being here so much and talking with me. I've had an absolute blast. And if you do not follow this amazing woman, I hope you go, and all of her socials will be linked down below. I'm already excited. I'm already counting down the days to the next NHL season.
Me too. Oh my gosh.
We still have playoff hockey going on right now, but when you don't have a team in it, you're like, all right, it's time to go.
Exactly.
Time to speed up a little bit. We're ready
for the along. Colorado just win already. Put the dagger in everybody's chest. Let's go. Come on.
I said I'm an East Coaster and I, cheering for it, but I'm like, Colorado, you're just going to go ahead and just get it over with, please.
Make it quick.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Let's call it a day. So, exactly. But Carrlyn, I appreciate you being here. And as always, I will see you guys back here next time. Bye, y'all.